character. I was stuck on his.
Yeah, I know.
I I feel like I'm talking to him now. Andrew, Anthony, you have an interesting name on Twitch.
Oh, the spooky?
Yeah. You think about what you do and where you live. There really doesn't. I don't see any correlation with any of that. So,
well, I'm pretty mundane at this point, but when I was a little younger, I definitely was a big goth kid, and even worked at the old Hot Topic when I went to college. So they dubbed me the name Spooky since I was the resident goth kid, pretty much.
were you like?
So,
that?
but even today, I still have like a big thing for anything weird, creepy, or mundane. I'm all about it.
Right. Oh, I'm sure you like horror movies. Then in that case, right?
Yeah, like horror movies or horror games. I love horror games like Amnesia. That was a wonderful game. Anything like H.P. Lovecraft, Lovecraftian, I'm all over it.
You're also from Pittsburgh, is that right?
Yeah, I grew up actually in Western Pennsylvania.
Oh, see, there you go. I'm actually based out here in the Poconos, and a lot of you guys know, kind of in the middle of nowhere. But being from Pittsburgh, you probably have a very close connection with kind of the George Romero scene out there, and like how, like that's the grandfather of zombie horror films. I mean, if I were a kid growing up in Western Pennsylvania, I would always want to like visit those locations. I still want to this day, want to visit the location of the first Night of the Living Dead. Have you ever gone there?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, as I was growing up, even before I knew anything about the zombie stuff, I would go to the Monroeville Mall with my parents all the time. And then as I got older, I realized what it was, after watching those movies, and it became like this cult thing. They still have like annual zombie walks and things like that out there.
Oh yeah.
To honor it. It's pretty interesting. They'll have zombie walks out here in San Francisco once in a while too. It's always it's interesting the reactions you get from people, especially when we usually end it by going in the BART station and doing the Thriller dance. People always love that.
That is freaking awesome. Yeah, I always thought about wanting to drive out to Pittsburgh to visit that cemetery. They're coming to get you, Barbara. That's public domain. That's public domain now. So I can say that and not have to worry about copyright infringement. So there you go, government. Freaking A. But yeah.
They actually when George Romero was releasing that movie, he actually was it the Night of the Living Dead? Like I think he just forgot to copyright it, and then it got to the point where he's like, well, screw it, I'm just gonna make it public domain, so he could actually release it.
I think that's what happened. You're right. If I remember this correctly, I think it was because there was a discrepancy in the title of the film, and that's why the paperwork got botched.
I think it was originally named something else. I'm not too clear on it right now. Yeah. I'm not up on my zombie history at the moment.
Nah, it's okay. I mean, it's not like I study this stuff every time I go to the crapper because I have a book about it. Anywho, being that Rob is, and I know I'm kind of asking through you, but being that Rob is, out in Japan and things like that, he probably is he big on horror? Because I mean, Japan has like a huge collection of the most disturbing type of horror films that I've ever seen, and I love horror films too. Like I love Hellraiser, like the 80s horror too, like the slasher horror.
Oh yeah.
Hellraiser and those really disturbing, like mentally disturbing sort of films.
I'm a big sucker for practical effects, like the original, or not the original, but the John Carpenter's The Thing, stuff like that. Yeah. But Rob, I don't think he's too much into the actual horror aspect as much. He's definitely more into like the like Metal Gear, espionage, like
they have
gamification of things.
Huge like horror subculture. Either they're really good at it, or they totally misinterpreted what we were going for, and they just wanted to fuck with you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like there's a movie, the name of the movie is called Audition, and the movie starts out where a guy loses his wife, and he's trying to audition for the part of a woman whom he later wants to make his wife. It's a little unethical, but he does it anyway. well, the person that he ends up netting is this friggin' psychopath who, you know, is deranged and kidnaps men and cuts out their tongues and stuff like that. That's stuff you don't find in American cinema. It's just like, we just have a guy with an axe. He's gonna come around and get you. So
you're chasing teenagers around.
Yeah, you know, like their horror is on such a psychological level, and it disturbs me. But I like that it disturbs me. So
well, and they I don't know, they can kind of cross certain lines that Americans don't usually cross, like Itchy the Killer, for example. Like that movie's deranged and sadistic on a different level that you don't normally would see in America at all.
Right. Yeah. In Europe, and especially in Germany, and I don't know whether this is because of you know, like World War II sanctions or stuff like that, they're very against the vision or the depiction of violence. Like, I know a lot of Resident Evil game covers that had violence in the front, or like a severed hand or something, that needed to get changed because in Germany that just doesn't fly. You know what I mean? Like,
right. I mean, recently the Left 4 Dead had to be changed because of the hand.
Right.
And also Dead Island with the corpse hanging in the tree, that logo had to be changed in the European markets.
Right. Art of Japan. Oh, look at that. So these are things that you kind of pick up on from going a little bit deeper. You know, but it all starts, you know, it's got to start with something. I mean, you know, starts with the language, starts with the intrigue. You know, I watched that movie Audition, and then all of a sudden I want to know certain words in Japanese, and you start to want to pick out excuse me, you want to pick out things, you want to be able to watch it without having to sit there and read subtitles, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Get a different level of enjoyment out of it, you know, and once you can kind of immerse yourself into the culture a little bit, you'll understand some of the other references or nuances in the films as well.
Right. Somebody in the chat asked, Azure Blue, was it Azure Blue? I'm sorry, I'm just looking through here. I think it was Azure Blue. Azure Blue asked a question. Yep. Will there be a tablet-compatible version somewhere in the future? That's a pretty good question, because this...
Yeah, we get this question a lot. We got it like all day at GDC. My marketing answer is we're looking into the analytics and we'll make a decision down in the future. I have talked to Rob about this, and we don't... Our idea is really the input device. It was completely designed around a mouse and keyboard or even a controller. It wouldn't translate to a touchscreen device very well at all. We'd have to put on those like a D-pad prompt or something on the actual tablet device, and we feel that that's not the right way to display our game. Like it would be a challenge to actually move around and interact with objects. So at this point, we would rather do something more of some kind of mobile application. Maybe the actually 3D dictionary could come more into fruition on a tablet or a phone, because that seems like a good application to complement this. So we're more thinking in that direction opposed to actually just taking our game and porting it over. But it is important also to note that we are using Unity, and Unity is getting a like new support for different web browsers. Like Firefox is now going to be able to support Unity directly within it, so there may be a future where we'll be able to have our game as like an application through Firefox, and you'll be able to, you know, play this just in a web browser, and you wouldn't need Steam at all. And also we've had talks with Nintendo before. Cool. Because the 3DS is actually getting Unity support, and I feel that this would be a good application to have on the 3DS, especially with the D-pad analog stick, and also the touchscreen in conjunction of that. I think that would work pretty well.
I was gonna say, you're getting good talks from Nintendo, not, hey, what the hell is the Nintendo doing in your closet in your game?
Yeah, we that's something we definitely hopefully they don't send us a cease and assist over. We didn't say it's a Nintendo, quote unquote. We, even though it, you know, obviously looks like one, it does say, you know, video games console, right. I believe, when you click on it. For our April Fool's joke, we had we actually said that you could learn Klingon, Elvish, Dova, and Binary. That was our April Fool's joke, and people kept on saying, like, "Oh, I want to learn Elvish or Klingon." They really like that. But one of the things I wanted to put in there was Simlish, but I was worried that EA would send us a cease and desist letter.
Yeah, you got to be worried of some of those things, you know.
I mean, if any company would do that, I would say EA would.
Not, we love you, EA, but you need to haul it back a little bit with that.
Yeah. I don't doubt they would sue an indie developer. So.
Yeah. They would sue me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
They would sue a regular guy off the street, let alone an indie developer. Oh yeah, you'd sue him. Okay, so it's time to talk about the next person in the winnings for a CD key, and this gentleman has been working very hard. I can see he's at the top of the list. Let's go ahead and give away to JNG789. JNG789, congratulations, you're a winner of a CD key. I'm sending you that as we speak through direct message. Go ahead and check your DM box. Okay, sure. And I sent it. Okay, so it should be in your DM box. Congratulations. Thanks so much for coming out, bud. Let's go ahead and take a look around. I'm a little worried. I'm looking at some of these CD keys, and I can't interpret whether they're zeros or O's. So I have to... I think they're just zeros. Or they could be O's. I don't know. I have to look at that and make a better sense of that. The stapler. That is so funny. See, and I like your sense of humor, too. Like, you put things in here for people to find. And if, you know, I'm playing... it's in the DVD player. If I'm playing this by myself, now I know it's not just me randomly clicking around. Like, now I'm looking for things that could be cool that I might want to learn about. So, like, there's that aspect of it, too. What's these? These are
Hose.
Hose. We have over here.
Hemd.
Hemd. Das Hemd. Okay. Looking through. So, chat, what's going on? I like the web browser app. Yep, I do too, man. Seems like a great idea. Yeah, and I'm sorry if I haven't been great on the chat aspect of things. My laptop's off to the left there, and I'm kind of like peeking at it every now and again. But you know, if things kind of go by too fast and I miss it, I apologize. But thank you guys. Really love that you showed up. Really love that you came out in numbers. Appreciate it. What's this back
Fußball.
here? Yeah! We finished a whole new vocab list. Yes.
Shoe.
We're also pretty active in the Reddit community, so I'll link that as well. We have our own subreddit, just r/Influent.
Absolutely, definitely. Check
Beezen.
that out. If you guys
Beezen.
like to Reddit, if you're a Redditor, then you'll definitely love to check out the subreddit. That's something I need to get into a lot more. Like, I have a good friend of mine who Reddits every single day, and like that's basically like his Huffington Post. Like, he goes there for everything, and I like it.
Well, we were talking about DayZ before. DayZ's one of the influences that got me into Reddit, because when it was still in the mod stage, information wasn't available very well to everyone was figuring out this game as they were playing it, and the Reddit was a great place for information and to figure out other things with the other players. So that's my original aspiration in getting into Reddit, and then I just kind of got addicted.
Stuck around.
Yeah, Reddit's it's an interesting place. I've been to their office before. They're really cool guys.
That's neat. And you know what? Now that you mention that, there's probably a lot of people that talk about this game who probably definitely know way more than I do. But not reluctantly. That's not the word I'm looking for. Like, religiously explore all the nooks and crannies and stuff, because you got a lot of things that you can find in here. There's another skateboard reference, again, nod to what Rob.
Oh, if you look on the keychain, it has it says Mint, and that's the logo for his skate company.
You're right. Look at that. Look at all the side stories, dude. I love that. Can I open the Geldbeutel? How much money you got in there? Probably none if you're cooking with potatoes all day. What's this? 8-bit era. It's crazy to think that that was an era and now it's over, kind of, but not really, because, people are still making games in that sense for 8-bit consoles or platforms, but I don't know, I think about it, it's just What I'm trying to say is I feel old.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, man. Like, I still play some of those games. Like, they're fun to me. You know, like I downloaded an emulator for Nintendo, and I was playing a really old Nintendo game that unfortunately you can't get in America, but it's in Japan, and it was translated. It was Mother, you know, from the Earthbound.
Oh, I know exactly what that is from the Earthbound series.
Right, you know, and I was playing that, and I had so much fun playing it. But you think about kids that they don't have an appreciation for 8-bit, or they look at it and they're just like, this is stupid. But I played through that, and I was literally enthralled front to back with that game. And you know, it's not graphically impressive, you know, it's kind of shoddy almost by today's standards, but you know, the gameplay itself was just fun and addictive, and that was part of an era where you had to use, you know, imagination. There weren't all these details, these things that you could find. What's this?
Well, also, if you jump up to 16-bit, I think that the sprites are very vibrant and an original aesthetic to it, and that's something that's almost like timeless compared to like PlayStation 1 or N64 or the original Xbox. Those they don't age very well. Their graphics do not hold up because they're the very first generation of 3D compared to 16-bit sprites that just look beautiful now. And then if you look at like one of a sprite on like an HD TV, it just looks great.
Yeah.
The pixel quality is awesome.
It does pop, that's for sure. And that's kind of like a style.
Yeah, I'm very, very big into. I was going to say I'm very big into archiving and emulation and ROMs and things like that. I mean, I'm not trying to advocate piracy at all, but there's certain, like you said, like Mother you brought up, is you can't. If I'm like, hey Nintendo, here's money, I want to buy Mother. There's like, no, you can't have it. You know, so like there's certain games that you would never experience unless you actually go down the emulation route. And there's a lot of interesting devices you can get. Like I have one called a Dingu, and it's basically a like ROM device, and you can just put on whatever you want. And I use that for my JRPGs.
Yeah, I tell you, man, like there's a lot of things that don't get brought over. For instance, and this kind of brings me into one of the styles I think that this game reminds me of. Have you ever played a game called Shenmue on Dreamcast?
That is absolutely a influence of this game, and also another one from Dreamcast would be Toy Commander.
Oh, I never played that one. I think I've seen it. I used to have a subscription. This is how much of a nerd I am. I used to have a subscription to Dreamcast, official Dreamcast magazine, because they would have like the best articles and colorful stuff. Anyway, I think I saw it in Dreamcast magazine once, but I never played it.
Yeah, but that's the whole flyby mode with the Stingray is a direct influence from that Toy Commander game. Rob was very into that game on Dreamcast, and he was like, that's one of the reasons I added this into the game, is because I wanted to make something like that.
Yeah. Well, just from a perspective of having the ability to interact with so much in this life, in this world right now, kind of gives me flashbacks to Shenmue. And in the same respect, you know, Shenmue had a sequel that was not, it wasn't immediately released in America, so you had to go ahead and get the pirated, translated Japanese copy, which wasn't too bad because this was one of those games that you could pirate pretty easily. And again, I'm not a pirate. Please don't come after me, FBI. And you know, I didn't do all that stuff. I played one game. It was just one time. Doesn't count.
It's fair use, I swear.
It's fair use. It's been so old. I would love if they made a third Dreamcast installment, or just like a third installment to the game.
There's been rumors that they're gonna release a Shenmue on PlayStation 4.
Oh my god, I would absolutely love that. I would love it.
I'm looking for some sailors.
Yeah,
have you seen some sailors?
Have you seen? Just wanted to know if you knew anything about that day. What can you tell me about that day? Oh man, it's so much. But a lot of that gameplay was just kind of like this right now, and going around and picking up things and looking at different items in the house or around town and being like, you know, what does this have to do? You know, what's the significance about this pie here? did you cook this pie on that day? But you spent a lot of time doing that and trying to find clues and stuff. You know, and some people that's like, oh, I don't want to do that. But to other people, it's like, wow, I can actually open the cupboards? You're kidding me. You know, had this game came out when Dreamcast was around, this would have been, like, phenomenal. This would have been, like, groundbreaking or whatnot. I mean, it's still incredible with the fact that it's got 10 different languages and whatnot. But, I mean, just from a technical standpoint, like, wow, I can open the fridge? Are you kidding me? I think... They just give me... I have to break the wall to find a piece of a pork chop in Castlevania. I can go in the friggin' fridge. Yeah, dude. So, well, here's an interesting question. There are 10 languages. Does Rob know all 10 of those?
No. I mean, he's fluent in English, bad English, and Japanese.
That would have made him quite a force to be reckoned with if he was fluent in all those languages. I was like... Oh shit! Yeah, man, that's a great I mean, it's one thing to want to make a game, and it's another thing to want to make a game in a language that you speak. But it's a totally different thing when you're making a game and it's in languages you don't even know. Like, that's a huge undertaking. You know what I mean? And kudos for him for getting it right, and you for getting it right, because I got to tell you, you know, if it were me. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable about putting a game out in a language that I've never spoken before, especially, you know, something that people feel very fervent and you know, passionately about. Because, you know, as we all know, people that speak a language, they're very protective over it.
Baseballschläger.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, we when we present this at you know, an expo or something, we get very passionate people about that are into languages, and they will have, you know, very long conversations with us about their love of learning languages, knowing other languages, or just learning in general.
I was clicking the right button on this cat. I was hoping maybe I could poke it and have it do like a
You can spin the chair around.
Oh, and the cat makes a noise. You know, YouTube's one of those places where you can just type in like funny cat videos, and then you get like pictures of cats making weird faces or whatever. It'd be really funny if you clicked on this and then all of a sudden it gave you like the dramatic chipmunk face, and it was like,
yeah.
Oh, this game's amazing.
Turns into Grumpy Cat.
Yeah. Oh my God! If you had a Grumpy Cat patch, can you imagine? Everyone...
Cat's mad. It's constipated because it doesn't have a litter box.
The Reddit hits. Oh my God, the upvotes. The upvotes! Let's see what we got here. Here's another thing about foreign countries, just in general, outside of the U.S. They're huge. They're big into recycling. And that's kind of evident by...
Recycling-Mülleimer.
The recycling bin in here. But I know for a fact that in Japan, they're very stringent, as well as Germany too. They're very stringent on their recycling policies. Whereas I live out here in the middle of the woods, in the middle of a pristine national forest, and I don't recycle shit. And you know, bad me. I'm sorry, but you know, we don't have that service out here. But it's neat that these little details are kind of kept in the game. And you can tell, you know, we got the chopsticks. Let's see what these are called.
Essstäbchen.
Wait, one more time?
Essstäbchen.
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 Oh, man. Sometimes you have to hear it a lot and then try and try. You know what else I notice? I'm here in my room. I'm by myself. But I feel no... Well, I mean, I'm by myself, but, you know, we're on Twitch and whatnot, but I feel no inhibitions about trying to say a word. It's different when you're in a classroom because then you've got people watching you and you don't want to screw up. But
always judging, always watching, yeah.
Right. So, in this respect, you know, you can try to say something
Räucherstäbchen.
like... Yeah, what?
Räucherstäbchen.
One more time.
Räucherstäbchen.
Okay. Räucherstäbchen. You could try to say that and not feel stupid because somebody's like, oh, it's not how you say it. There's always that dude in the back of the room who's like a fluent speaker who's just taking it for the easy credit. And he's just, oh, jeez, such a noob. Okay, I didn't grow up speaking German. I'm sorry. What's this?
Teppich.
That's a teppich. See, that's funny because, and I said this in my original review.
Teppich.
I always learned that as teppich, but they're saying teppish. So maybe I've been saying it wrong this whole time, but then you could also call it a
Vorleger.
Vorleger. You know, I miss being able to speak and talk about German. Technoglobe's beloved new CEO. I can see why she's beloved. Jesus. How does she do it? Well, I could give you my theory on that, but it's probably not PG-13 rated. Let's look over here. The calendar. Yeah, go ahead.
It is funny that the whole beginning intro is about how somebody stole the technology away from him, you know, and he's trying to basically start a Kickstarter to get his invention back. Is kind of like the meta story.
Yep.
And it's funny because we've been pirated, and people like post this game up, and I actually went to a couple of the forum posts and stuff where people are like promoting the pirated game. And I always highlight that their post the whole beginning intro basically as transcripted into words, and I just go, yeah, that's interesting. Somebody stole it. That's what I'll leave on their comment boards.
Oh my god, the balls on.
Word to the wise though, I did look through the pirated stuff, and somebody did repackage it as a new exe file, and it has about 10 different viruses in it. So enjoy that.
Guys, be careful of that. I don't even want to talk about it more than we need to, but you know, you got the real version right in front of you. Please don't go trying to find any knockoffs or anything like that. No reason to. These guys worked very hard on this game. As you can tell, it's a labor of love. Spent 3 years doing it, and from what you've told me, it wasn't always easy. You know, like there was times where you know, Rob, your friend and the creator, had to spend nights on your couch. You know, that's, you know, they're not living the high life and just getting pirated like a company like EA. Like, guys, they loved the idea of what they're doing, and they're living it out, and they're seeing it through. And the fact that they're seeing it through and they're making all these you know, adjustments and changes for you, for your benefit, you know, I think that needs to go a long way and needs to be you know, talked about a little bit. So, you know, please, we talked a little bit about piracy, but please don't think that this is a game you need to do that with. You know, if you enjoy the concept, if you enjoy the gameplay, then please support these guys and do what you can, because, you know, we need stuff like this. You know, you don't want to undermine the effort.
Yeah, I mean, I worked after college. I worked, you know, I put in my dues. I worked at a number of web agencies in the Bay Area. Did a lot of like web marketing and just web development, you know, for my background. And for Rob, he developed a lot of different games for other companies in Japan. He actually worked for like an iPhone game company.
Right.
As like a project manager, and he said that was like the most soul-crushing experience of his life.
Yeah, not to cut you off, but that's actually like a huge thing in Japan. They're big into their mobile. You know what I mean? Like that's something they're getting away from their console games, and they're looking really big into their mobile. So that actually makes a lot of sense now that you say that. But
well, and also they have a huge commute community. So I mean, everyone kind of, you know, lives out of the city and commutes into work. So that's also one of the reasons why the Vita or the 3DS is so popular in Japan as well, is because of that you know, community around commuting into work.
Yeah, you're right. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it gives you an opportunity to catch up on all those things. You know, I've lived in New York City for a time being, and you know, taking the metro transit, you always have time to sort of do those things. Living out in the sticks now, mostly just driving, so it'd be kind of tough for me to play my Sanji Genshiten and learn my German in addition to pay attention to the road. Someone's gonna get hurt. But you know, in that respect, the Japanese have it on the mobile. But when I come home, I love turning on my computer, firing that up, and just having a good old time. Right now, I'm writing down another code. And in about a minute or so, I'm going to be looking through to see who's subscribed to Play Influent, to Fuzzy Motion, at Fuzzy Motion on Twitter, and looking for a retweet of Play Influent, the tweets on my page. If you have those things done, then you will be getting a special press code to you very shortly. So please, guys, I urge you, go ahead and take a look. Few follows and a retweet, you could find yourself playing a brand new game and learning a new language. 7,000 languages. Are there even that many languages in existence? Here's a good question. I know that, English and Japanese, since Japanese was kind of like what this was based off of, that was kind of the first choice for languages. But what I'm trying to get at is, what was like the selection process for the other languages that you guys picked?
Basically, it was if we knew someone who could speak that language, that's how it would get into the game. So, I mean, we went to a lot of different friends. Rob did like all the legwork for this. He pulled in a lot of favors, from different people that he knew, and would sit down and be like, hey, help me with this game here. I want you to be a voice actor. Or, I mean, he reached out to other people who were actually aspiring to be a voice actress or actor as well, and be like, I'm going to put you in this game. You'll get some credit for it.
In Japan?
Yeah, in Japan. And Japan is very multicultural. I mean, you meet a lot of different people from different countries that speak multiple languages easily in Japan. So that it's a good resource base for him to find different people and different native speakers.
I had gotten that impression because, like I said, I've kind of done my homework on following people who are expatriates living in different countries, and Japan was one of those countries. It was always very interesting to me, and I was surprised at seeing how many different nations were represented inside of Japan. Japan being a very small landmass, you wouldn't think so many people would want to work out there or live out there, but there are. I mean, other than Americans, you've got a lot of Canadians, Brazilians, Germans, rest of the Europeans, the Russians, some of that live out there. There's like small communities, but they're more prevalent than you think, and it boggles my mind. I wouldn't have considered all that, but that's interesting. I didn't know that there would be, well, you know what? Now that you say that makes sense, because a lot of voiceover, because people that speak English, I don't know, it just kind of makes sense to me. I'm just thinking, maybe I'm making a broad statement, like, oh yeah, because of all the anime that they produce, right? That's where all the voice actors come from. Yeah, there goes my ignorance showing again. But
we do have a good Cowboy Bebop reference in this as well.
Oh, where's that?
That's in the bedroom.
Okay, let's.
It's pretty subtle. It's subtle. Most people miss it.
Now, I know about Cowboy Bebop, and I think I've watched an episode or two, but let's see if I can find it. It's in the bedroom, he says. Looking around.
But yeah, Cowboy Bebop's probably both mine and Rob's one of our all-time favorite animes.
Let's see, what do we got? Dube Rodriguez, Bachelor of Science and Making Stuff. I don't think that's it. Is it in... Alright, it's in the bedroom. Is it inside of something, or is it...
You are close.
Is it visible to me right now?
Oh, it's visible to you.
Oh, it's visible. Okay, so I just gotta zoom in. How to become a millionaire inventing electronic devices. That's not quite it. Is it the camera? Is it the camera? Can I click on the camera and do something? No. The headphones. What's this? This is another Bericht. Another report. Water the plants? Does that have something to do with it?
No. It's very close to that, though.
Oh, okay. So now I'm on the trail. Can't be the cat. Let's see. Is it not the water bottle? Come on, Rob. You can think. You can do it. That just looks so mundane. It can't be this.
Werkzeugkasten.
Look for a date.
A date. Like a date? Like, no, not that. We already
like a time.
Oh.
Time date.
Oh. Wait. Get off of that. There we go. Up here? 2012?
Yep.
That's it? I was going to ask about this before. So what's the significance?
Yes. In the opening credits, there's a rocket ship that has that same aesthetical look in the beginning of the anime.
Oh, I thought this was a reference to the toy plane that you get to fly as. That's what I thought that was.
Oh no, it's.
I was actually gonna ask about that earlier and say, is this because this is when the games, first just gestation period started or something like that. But it slipped my mind. Let's go ahead and take a look. It's cool. It's cool having somebody from behind the scenes to kind of help you through some of this stuff.
Soccer.
Just to find some of the interesting words.
Yeah, there's definitely there's a lot of
Steckdose.
things and a lot of content, nestled into this small area.
Let's see, what's this? We looked at this before, but G2, the next generation in cell phones. What, like radioactive? 'Cause she's green. I feel like I'm in love with a Walkman.
You can open the cell phone on the desk too, or not the desk, but
Toilette.
the bureau.
Oh, I didn't even think to do that. Ooh, is that a nipple? No, that can't be a nipple. What is that in the background? Look, I'm just gonna close that and then pretend we never saw that. Walking on along. See now oh, it just makes the sound. I thought it actually popped toast out. I was gonna say that's cool. Wait, can we cut? Can we cut? Oh, not quite. All right, so I think it's time that I go ahead and reveal the next winner. As I go ahead and take a look. All right, so let's see. Look at that. And I'm just going to make sure that he's following Influent. Yep, there we go. We got our next winner, Ferdinand Fernandez. Animalis under... I'm sorry, I totally butchered that, but your name is Ferdinand Fernandez. Ferdinand Fernandez, you won yourself a free copy of Influent. Thanks so much for watching the stream, buddy. I'll go ahead and DM that to you. Toot sweet. There we go. And why can't I DM? All right, I'll figure that out. I'll be getting that to you very shortly, bud. So this is fantastic. Let's look around. Can we interact with the cup? Oh, I know we can open that stuff up. So, what? So Rob's over in Japan right now, and you guys have, well, he has plans of starting up an office in Australia, from what I gather from what we talked about earlier, right?
Yeah, that's in the work. He's actually going to move from Japan down to Brisbane in the next month or so, and we'll see what happens from there.
Are you planning on moving in? I mean, I'm sure he has a couch. But
Well, I'm definitely gonna, go over and visit. It's definitely, I think, important to have a branch here in San Francisco, though, since there's a lot of video game industry happening here in San Francisco.
right.
But I have no qualms of moving to
Sandpasta.
Australia. As long as I don't get eaten by a giant spider, I'll be fine.
I was watching a video today. They say if you double the oxygen in the atmosphere, that bugs would become much bigger. In fact, giant. Because things like spiders, their size is derived.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. By the
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, because they can't. The circulation, they can't handle the oxygen through all their extremities
Vitamine.
with the oxygen content that we have currently on Earth.
Schachtel.
That's terrifying. Don't you think? So that means if we have like a dude who's motivated enough, like a Dr. Giro or something, he could just make a glass bottle and pump as much fucking oxygen into there as he wants, and then by the time you know it, boom, humongous spider.
Cactus.
I think that kind of information needs to be kept secret from people like that. Who knows what the world has to offer when it comes to nut jobs and whatnot. So why Australia? There's plenty of places all across the world. Some places that you could probably use Influent to learn their local tongue. What prompted him to want to move to Australia?
We have a couple friends that live there. We're, as you saw from the introduction, Team Hitbox from Dust Force.
Right.
They're musical composer. His name is Lifeformed. Is what he goes by, and he lives in Brisbane. A couple of the other guys from the Hitbox team also live there, and they're pretty good friends with Rob, and I've been introduced to them. So we have a collection of friends that already live there, and he's gone to Brisbane to visit before, and he just had a really positive experience and likes it there. So it's something that he's in the process of just picking up and going there.
Oh, cool. Well, it's nice to have a friendly face there, and when you know your friends are living there, you feel a little bit more, I guess, comfortable in getting out there. I've always had.
Yeah, and I haven't been. I've been a lot of Europe, but I haven't been all the way out to Japan or Australia yet. So that's definitely something I would love to experience and go out there and see what it's all about.
All right. Yeah, I've never been to Japan myself. I would love to go to Japan. I'm always just afraid that much like the movie The Audition, I might end up like a man inside of a burlap sack with his tongue cut out. I've seen that movie Hostel too. That's terrifying as well. And Centipede. That's more erotic than anything else.
The human Sentai pad.
The Sentai pad. Ruhifna, rape drug. I know somebody that asks their class about, like a buddy of mine is a history teacher, and he asks somebody about that. Like, that's one of his icebreakers with his kids. Like, what part of the human centipede would you want to be? I'm like, how do you have a job still? What? Why are you asking kids this? I just want to hear their take on it. I'm like, you're sick, man. Like, I don't understand. Some people out in the world. What do we got here?
Kopfhörer.
Kopfhörer. Now, this is interesting. This is the marriage of two words, and it's kind of, like, it just makes sense. Kopf is the German word for head. Hörer is a German word. It's like kind of an amalgamation of hören, which means to hear. So you put those two things together. The literal translation would be head hearer or head listener. And then when you translate that over, it doesn't translate word for word. It just kind of turns into headphones. I don't know. It's weird to talk about the etymology of some of these words, especially because German and English come from the same branch. They're both Germanic, and so is Swedish and Dutch and things like that. I'd be really interested to trying the Japanese, the Korean versions. The only thing I'd be really afraid of is I wouldn't be able to quit because I wouldn't know what exit the game looks like.
Hut.
Well, yeah, I mean, currently right now our only two languages for the UI are English and Japanese.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to happen in one of our next big updates. Is we're gonna push out a number of languages for the user interface, and that will definitely help with appeal. Because I mean, people are like, well, what's the point if I can't have my user interface in Chinese if I'm trying to learn, English? Right. Then that's not really helpful.
A lot of people are taking to picking up languages like that, and I don't know whether it's because of just interest or maybe politically motivated reasons, because some people feel that in 10 years we'll all be speaking Chinese, if you know what I mean. But
it's like Firefly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they get like the alternate universes and whatnot, sliders.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I missed sliders. I remember that.
Yeah, back when Jerry O'Connell was relevant. He was a fun guy. He used to be
showing my age a little bit.
No, it's my age. How? I hope I'm not
that
getting too personal.
Oh no, I'm 31.
Oh, okay. I'll be turning.
It's like
29 this
the
year.
old was it Quantum Leap?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. So that's really funny. Oh man. So we actually have a lot in common. Growing up from West Pennsylvania. What? If you don't mind me asking, what high school did you go to?
That's the small town. The town I grew up in is called Brookville.
Oh, okay.
And it's just the closest place that would be on the map would be called Clarion, and they have a university there.
Universities out there. I always hear about, because I follow football a lot, high school football, and you always hear about like Aliquippa, the Fighting Quips. They're always out there, like in Western Pennsylvania. Western Pennsylvania is also known for producing some of the NFL's best quarterbacks. Dan Marino came from out there. What's his face from the Steelers, the quarterback for the Steelers. Why can't I remember his name? Not Howie Long. Oh God. See, this is.
I'm not a sports guy. I'm useless to you.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, but that's usually what Western Pennsylvania is known for, is producing some great quarterbacks in the NFL. Got good programs out there. What can I say?
Yeah, when I went to my first college out there in
Gemälde.
Pennsylvania, the only job I could find after graduating was they wanted me to model farm equipment in 3D, and that was my aha moment where I was like, yeah, I'm moving to California.
Yeah. Opportunities are abundant out here. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I could.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's switched from where I couldn't find anything and I had to be basically a generalist and knowing everything
Spielekonsole.
to moving out to California where I had to specialize in one thing and be really good at that one thing to find employment that way.
Well, I guess it's a difference in problems, But
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. I noticed that there's mushrooms. Is this kind of like a throwback to Nintendo with Mario, or are you guys trying to tell us something about hallucinogens?
I think it's split a little bit of both, probably.
I never.
We
never
definitely like to have fun, so.
I never did mushrooms. Never did. But my college roommates. This is a funny story, right? So my college roommates, one of them said we should get shrooms from a shroomery, and I said, "Oh, that's
Shroomery.
yeah." I don't know. I don't even know if that sort of thing exists. Anyway, long story short, I ended up not partaking in that whole fiasco, mainly because I had class at that time, and I was like, I'm not going to skip class to do shrooms with you guys. Sorry, I'm going. So I left.
Sorry, I'm going to be responsible.
Yeah, I look back at that, and I'm like, I could have very easily been part of that group if I didn't have a 6 to 9 in English comp class, but I decided not to because I just had to go to class. So I came
Well,
back.
what I usually say to people is there's a time and a place for drugs, and it's called college.
That's right. That's right. And those guys, they figured it out. What they told me about their experience, because it was, I went to Kutztown, which is, middle of farm country, very similar to where you were describing, but very cold, rainy day. But some of the houses are painted brightly. They said it was the weirdest contrast to see that bright color on the gray background. They found a little stream because it was raining so hard, and they were like, it looked like a river. And then one of them had like an existential crisis when he came back. Somebody else had their jaw locked, and I was like, wow, you guys are fucked. I'm so glad I didn't take part in this. But that's the closest I've ever come. Is one of my friends did it in college, and they told me firsthand what that whole experience was. And I know myself enough not to want to do that, because if I have an existential crisis, that would be awful.
Well, coming from Western
Muesli.
Pennsylvania and then moving to San Francisco, let's just say the drug culture out here is something that will put most people into a culture shock.
Right,
I've never, I could never, even being in Europe everywhere and been to crazy parties in Germany and stuff, it's nothing compared to out here. Like you go down Haight Street and you're just offered everything under the sun, and people have zero shame about anything. It's mind blowing.
Well, like I said, like you said, time and a place. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. But I gotta tell you, the times are changing, man. You look at Colorado, things are just getting different, and I think the country as a whole is becoming more tolerable to that. But anyway, not to bore people with politics. We're not here for that. We're not here for that. We're not. Don't listen to me for political advice. I couldn't tell you politics from my ass or a hole in the ground. But anyway, so looking around, trying to see if we've missed any of the Easter eggs. I think well, I don't want to say this because I don't know for sure, but I feel like we've come across most of them.
Yeah, you found a lot of them. I mean, there's always the brand name of the computer is an interesting one if you notice that.
This kind of looks.
We also have a.
Oh wait.
We also have a. What is it? A Ratatouille Easter egg in the kitchen also.
I figured you might. Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. This kind of looks like an iCarly sort of thing where they had pears on the back of their apples. Not that I watch iCarly. Please don't think that.
Oh no, the computer references it's their bananas, so it's like an eye banana instead of an like eye apple. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Grumpy cat. Oh man. So let's just take a look at the chat. There's a time and a place, and it's called April 20th. That is correct, good sir. Killer Rocky, you got the right idea. So don't forget, on April 20th, come out and enjoy. You know what? Killer Rocky, my man, for making that comment, I am going to give you a CD key. If you have Twitter, good sir, if you have Twitter, please go ahead and subscribe, and I will message you right away. Probably after the stream's over, I will go ahead and message, because it's a little hard to do both things at the same time. But I will definitely get you a key immediately. That was funny. All right, and we also have that other one that I need to send out. I think I sent it out. I have to double check. It's hard multitasking, but I mean at the same time, it's you find time to take a break and then kind of look at your Twitter, look at this, look at that. But it's a good thing I have such a strong neck. No homo.
Seife.
Take a look at the Seife.
Nudeln.
Yeah, I keep on telling my cat to check the Twitter, and he
Belegtes
won't
Brot.
do it.
Come on, cat. What are you good for? You still haven't gotten me a litter box. Shut up. No one's supposed to know. I see. There was some over here that I saw that I didn't mention before, but I was looking at it. It says programming is fun, but it's written in the most bland text possible, and it's just a black book. I wouldn't be surprised if if it's written in binary. Was that from you? Was that part of what you were thinking? Like, oh, we should have a book in there called "Programming is Fun."
No, I didn't tell him about that Easter egg at all. But no, I mean, I think that's something that he's dealt with. Anyone that's learned a programming language, that's the type of thing you deal with a lot of the times, where it's just like that, like, oh, it's so much fun. Here, let me just read this horribly dry, boring lecture thing to you that you lose all interest and your eyes glaze over in like moments,
Right. Oh my god. Yeah,
I'm a pretty nerdy guy. I mean, I do web programming, so I mean, I'm all about it. But I mean, even then, like some of that stuff really. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'd rather work within the game industry opposed to the web industry. I mean, the web industry, I love that stuff, but it just bores me to tears after a while. But you put me in a room with a bunch of gamers and talk about game politics or game like business strategies, I'm all about it.
Right.
But for web stuff, I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, same, man, same. I got to tell you, when I first got into college, my major was it was computer science, because I thought, number one, I thought those jobs would always be there. Turns out some of them got outsourced. Whoops. And then the other thing I thought was like, oh yeah, I'm good at this and it'll be fun. Let me tell you, when I had to do C++ my freshman year, and I had to compile and look and find out where errors were or typos, I just wanted to put a bullet in my brain. I was like, oh my god, I can't do this.
Oh yeah, troubleshooting, especially with code like that, is just it's something special. You gotta be patient. It definitely taught me to be organized, patient, and much more relaxed as a person. I was much more high strung before I learned programming, and now it's just like, all right, you gotta calm down.
You learn the ways of the Jedi, my son.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, yeah. Some people are just innately good at it, but then some people, like myself, like I'm not good at it, but if I learn all those things that you were saying, then I could be okay at it, I guess. But man, it takes a lot of self-discipline, which, when I look around the room in here and I look at all the different things that are coded, I just think all the effort that you guys have probably put into this game, and it's I'm dumbstruck. Like, I just don't. I think to myself, like, wow, 3 years of programming, and like, you guys did it on your own, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean it's all Rob really. I mean, I just do the web stuff and do his marketing things now. But I mean, yeah, he really, it took a long time to, you know, get everything going, and I mean, he had a full-time job usually on this as well. So I mean, this was his work of all passion.
Awesome. So I don't know exactly if Rob ever is coming back or if he'll be available, but I would love to sit down with the two of you guys and hash out, because it seems like we could have a really good time talking about the game and stuff. So maybe sometime in the future when Rob decides he wants to visit the U.S. and you know, grace us with our presence, it would be really cool to get him on stream and talk about a few things.
No, absolutely. I mean, I talked to him earlier today before the stream. He had a bunch of friends come and visit him in Japan. Well, he just got back, so he basically took a week off, and he's traveling around Japan, so he doesn't have a stable internet connection at the moment because he's traveling. So I mean, he would have been here if he could, but starting next week he'll be back in his office basically. So I mean, he would probably love to sit down and talk to you as well at some point.
Those youth hostels, I don't think that they have great Wi-Fi internet.
Well, also the internet works differently usually in Japan as well. I mean, some places it's not necessarily pay per month and you get unlimited bandwidth. It's usually, some places you have to pay per hour or something like that. But the internet is very, very, very fast compared to the U.S.
Oh yeah.
They don't have the Comcast problem that we have here.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
That's a whole other can of worms.
That's a whole other episode is what that is. That's me going on a tirade about the monopolies of... Because if you have a problem with your internet connection, too bad. Like, there's no other provider in the area unless you want to get a satellite, and then it's half as effective as the one you have. Oh, man. Don't even get me started.
Oh, absolutely.
One thing I just want to point out before we lose sight of this, the shower is called a douche. But it's a douche. Just wanted to point that out for everybody. Okay, so guys, it's been awesome. Thanks so much for stopping in. Again, Anthony Pruskowski, thank you so much for stopping in with us and taking the time. Love playing the game. Love talking with you. Hope to sit down with Rob at some point and have a few words and get his perspective of things, because you guys seem like an awesome bunch. Any shout outs you want to do? Any last minute sort of hellos? Hi, Mom.
Yeah, I don't think my mom's going to watch the stream, but I just want to post a couple links, or some of our social media here.
Absolutely.
Where we try to be active. We give a shit. We're on here every day. We're in our Steam forums. We're very passionate about Steam in general. So I mean, we care. We're here to fix things. If you notice an issue, please come to our Steam forums and post about it. We will talk to you. We will fix things. We will address them. We love to hear your feedback. Sign up for our newsletter if you want more information. We're very active in inviting the community to be part of the game, be part of making Influent better.
Katza.
Absolutely. So guys, definitely check this out. I do have a couple of other keys, so as the night goes on, I'll be on Twitter giving those away. All you have to do is retweet the Play Influent tweet on my page. Follow Influent on Twitter. They also have a YouTube page. If you'd like to follow them, I think it's also called Influent. If you just search that.
Yeah, we have a couple YouTube personalities right now. We don't have a lot of YouTube content right now, but that's definitely something in the works that we're planning on doing more YouTube and even Twitch content.
There you go, guys. You know me, I'm on YouTube, Fuzzy Motion. Come by. I'll be playing a little bit more Influence hopefully soon, and just trying to get the word out. These guys work really hard on this game, so please, if for no other reason, you just appreciate hard work and attention to detail and Easter eggs and kind of just having fun within the meta. Give it a try. Give it a try. And if you've ever had some sort of interest in learning a foreign language, give this a shot. This in comparison to Rosetta Stone, is like a drop in the bucket. I think Rosetta Stone's what, like $120 for a set.
Even more than that. I mean, it's targeting the business class. So I mean, that's something that you buy in an airport. So right. I mean, it's very different, but I mean, they're going to teach you a lot more in depth. But I mean, we have the gamification part. You know, I feel that that's something that's very valuable and adds to the experience.
Guys, you're talking $10 on Steam to give it a shot. I think it's well worth your time. It's well worth your money, as always. Okay, thank you, Anthony, for joining us. It was a pleasure. I was very glad to sit down and talk with you. And as always, Twitch, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thank you.